So are you the type of person that always arrives to a train station late and then gets upset when the doors slam right in front of your face? Or maybe the type of person that goes to a party 30 minutes before it's over just to say you were there? I mean, especially when you got the invitation months ago. Now this can be the same exact thing when it comes to Bitcoin. You don't want to be late to this party because this train is about to take off. What's up, Crypto Land? Black Crypto here, bringing another cryptocurrency video where I talk about the basics of Bitcoin and everything else cryptocurrency. So when it comes to Bitcoin, you might be a person that's still skeptical in terms of getting involved with it, or maybe you're a person that already involved with Bitcoin, but you're scared to take the plunge a little bit deeper. But when it comes to Bitcoin, this is something that you really have to consider because this is a party that's already been planned over the past several years, and it's going to be the most happening party when it happens. And you don't want to be that person that hear about this party being the talk of the town and you weren't even there, especially when you invited. So we're going to have a little heart-to-heart. I'm going to be telling you about a lot of different ways to understand Bitcoin and things to think about when it comes to Bitcoin to maybe help ease your conscience when it comes to you getting involved with Bitcoin, because this train is going to leave whether you're on it or not. But like me, I'd rather be on it because I don't want to be here stuck where I'm at. How about you? Now first, let's talk about the longevity of Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin at this point is proven technology. It's been around for over 11 years. And when we talk about a piece of technology that's been around for so long, especially in terms of the past, that means that there must be some kind of potential for it in the future. And that's something that you really should consider. Not only that, Bitcoin has never been hacked. And that's really good when it comes to a piece of technology. There's so many other technologies out there that have been hacked in some kind of way. I mean, for instance, let's think about it. The Ring doorbell, for instance, is a piece of technology in terms of the video doorbell that has been hacked by hackers. For instance, let's say you might be watching this on an iPhone right now, and the iPhone and the iCloud has been hacked before. Maybe not by Pacific in terms of the technology, but in terms of the lack of security protocols that they have put in place. But when it comes to Bitcoin and its security protocols, it's never been broken, ever. So in terms of you having confidence in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of the future of Bitcoin, this is one of the things that you really should consider, because there's been a lot of attempts to overthrow the Bitcoin network. There's been a lot of attempts to hack the network, and it hasn't happened yet. Another thing for you to consider is Bitcoin being a form of currency. I mean, that really can't be your argument anymore in terms of Bitcoin will never be used as a form of currency. And I mean, we know that that's farther from the truth. Bitcoin is accepted by hundreds, thousands of merchants out there. And not only in terms of merchants that you've never heard of before, but merchants that you have heard of before. For instance, Microsoft, Newegg, Overstock.com, Expedia, and so many more. So now you can't really say that you can't use it as a form of currency. Maybe you might say, why would I use it as a form of currency over a dollar or cash, for instance? But you can't say you can't use it anymore. Not only that, have you ever heard of Forex? I mean, this is a big hot topic now where people are talking about, hey, get involved with Forex because you can make a whole lot of money. Well, the reason why you're getting involved with Forex is because you're trading currencies. So why wouldn't you get involved with Bitcoin when you can trade Bitcoin against other altcoins, other cryptocurrencies? It just really doesn't make sense. You want to do one, but you won't do the other. And you really don't have any good reason behind it. So if you're going to be a person that would take a risk in terms of getting in the Forex market, or you know you've heard of Forex, meaning, oh, you can actually trade currencies? Wow, I didn't know that. That's because there is volatility when it comes to currencies. Maybe not as much when it comes to Bitcoin, but that probably means that there's more of an upside when it comes to Bitcoin. You think? So I mean, if you're thinking about trading Bitcoin, I mean, that's probably because you're considering the price of Bitcoin. So think about it like this. Bitcoin is the best performing asset that we've seen really in the last decade. I mean, maybe you're not a person that's an investor, right? But this is the time when everyone needs to become an investor, because you need to start taking advantage of the markets. You need to start taking control of your own money. So when it comes to the percentage, I mean, you think about this in comparison, for instance, to stocks that you might trust, whether you're involved with stocks or not. I mean, generally speaking, when you put your money in the stock market in terms of a yearly return, you want to see anywhere between a 5% to 10% in terms of return on your investment. But let's think about it like this. Over the last decade, let's think about companies that have come about in terms of the percentage that they've gained. For instance, Amazon has seen nearly a 2,000% increase in their stock over the last 10 years. Let's think about Netflix, for instance. Netflix has seen over 4,000% increase over the last 10 years. Let's compare that to gold, for instance. Gold has seen a 40% increase. But can we guess what kind of increase have we seen when it comes to Bitcoin? Nearly 9 million% increase when it comes to the price of Bitcoin. Now, if that isn't the best performing asset, then I don't know what is. Maybe you're scared that we won't see that kind of increase anymore. But what will you be satisfied with? Bitcoin increasing in value 10%, maybe 20%, or just 50% over the next 5 to 10 years? Is that something that's okay with you? I mean, that's okay with me. Maybe you're a person that's scared that the price of Bitcoin is going to drop sharply. I mean, this is a concern and it is a possibility, but one of the things that you have to consider is this is a buying opportunity if the price drops. I mean, we've already seen this when it came to the stock market, where the stock market crashed and everybody was just panicking. But you know who weren't panicking? The rich. The rich were just buying up stock as much as they could because they know that the price is eventually going to go back up. Whether it goes back up 1%, it goes up 5%, 50%, it's going to go back up, and that's a buying opportunity for them. So why wouldn't you think of Bitcoin as a buying opportunity if it comes to you trading it? Consider that. Now, I've already mentioned that Bitcoin as a technology is already proven, but one of the other things that you have to consider when it comes to Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is a piece of technology and we're only in the first phase of it. And what does this mean? Bitcoin as a currency, Bitcoin as a technology, what can you do with it? We haven't even seen what the price really reflects its value. We haven't even really seen what you can do with the technology behind it in terms of blockchain as of yet. So we're still in the early days. I like to make this comparison. For instance, when it comes to a modem, I mean, if you're old enough to remember modems, that's how you had to dial up to get internet connection. Now we don't really even think about it when it comes to internet connections because it's so fast. But you probably will remember how slow it was. And that's because the technology improved over the years. But when it comes to Bitcoin, why can't the technology improve? I mean, do you really think that this is where we're at with Bitcoin and this is only where it's going to stay when it comes to technology behind Bitcoin? We're going to see the technology improve so much more over the next 5 years that we're going to be looking back at this and really laugh at the way that we've seen money before, the way that we've seen technology that's using this blockchain technology. So you might want to get involved with it today because you know that it's going to be headed somewhere great in the future. You know, one of the reasons why I think a lot of people don't want to get involved with something is because of scams. I mean, you know, Bitcoin has had their share of scams. But one of the things that you can't say is that Bitcoin itself is a scam. Matter of fact, I did a video in terms of why I think that Bitcoin is not a scam. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check out that video. So one of the things that I want you to consider is, why won't you get involved with Bitcoin when you see other big players getting involved with Bitcoin? I mean, you might want to go to a party because you know that somebody popular is going to be there, or somebody who is popular is putting on the party. So one of the people who arrived late was the government. And not only the government, but in terms of banks also. So banks and governments are getting in bed with each other. They're saying, hey, cryptocurrency is something that we should pay close attention to. And if governments are starting to regulate cryptocurrencies, why aren't you trying to get involved with cryptocurrencies right now today for when that time comes when it's probably too late because they've regulated the hell out of cryptocurrencies, or it's a lot more stable and you won't be able to make a lot more profits than you need if you did it at that time versus now in terms of the investment. I mean, not only are governments getting involved in terms of regulating it, but we see banks are getting involved in terms of creating their own coins, and banks and governments are joining forces to create their own cryptocurrencies in terms of fiat currencies, digital currencies. And if that's something that's going to happen, inevitable in terms of happening, why aren't you getting involved with cryptocurrency? Let's talk about gold and silver, for instance, something that I know for a fact that you have your confidence in because you're probably wearing it around your neck. So when it comes to gold and silver, this is something that is a store of value and we can use as a form of currency. We already know that governments and central banks trade gold. So if they have their confidence in gold, why don't you own gold in your portfolio? I mean, gold and Bitcoin share similar characteristics, and one of those characteristics is the scarcity of them. We know that you can only mine gold up until a certain point, until it's no longer in the ground. And in terms of Bitcoin, we've already seen with the halving event that happened a couple of weeks ago, in terms of the reward being cut in half, that Bitcoin is finite. So that means that there is a level of scarcity with Bitcoin, and this is going to definitely fight inflation. So when it comes to Bitcoin, why don't you own Bitcoin and have it inside of your portfolio? Matter of fact, another person that you have your trust in or you've heard about is Robert Kiyosaki, the author in terms of Rich Dad Poor Dad, one of the best-selling books there is. So when it comes to him, he's now saying to you, hey, listen, I think everybody should own gold, silver, and Bitcoin in their portfolios. I mean, maybe you want to own it in terms of an investment just to see what's going to happen in terms of having it as a store of value, or you might want to have it in terms of form of currency later on in the future. But if that's somebody who you trust and somebody you trusted to get out of any kind of debt or to think about money in a different way, and he's now saying he has his confidence in Bitcoin and you should have it in your portfolio, why don't you have it in your portfolio yet? Well, there you have it, guys. I mean, that's my thoughts in terms of Bitcoin, and not only in terms of Bitcoin, but in terms of why haven't you gotten involved with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole yet? I mean, there are so many examples out there why you should be getting involved with Bitcoin, whether it's the government, for instance, that's making regulations. You follow their rules, right? Or institutions that are creating their own cryptocurrencies that you put your money into in terms of banks. Why aren't you getting involved with it? Because there's so many comparisons out there. Now, not only that, I'm a person who likes to catch the wave or follow the trends, but I'm not a follower. I am definitely a leader. For instance, don't be that person that arrives to a party late just to be the center of attention. Be the center of attention because you're the person who planned or put on that party. And that's one of the reasons why I'm positioning myself right now to secure my financial future. And that's why you should be thinking about it the exact same way. Guys, I'm Black Crypto. Thank you for checking out this cryptocurrency video. This train is about to leave and I'm going to make sure that I am on it. So what I want you to do is leave a comment below. Let me know, why haven't you joined this revolution? Why haven't you gotten on this train as of yet? Why are you still hesitant to get involved with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? Let me know. Or if you're a person that already got involved with Bitcoin, why did you get involved with Bitcoin? Also, hit that like button so you help me get this video recommended out to everybody. And also hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified anytime I release any new videos right here on my channel. And I'll see you in the next video.